Hello, I've been trying to do this for the better part of an hour. So I am not in the greatest possible mood imaginable. But welcome to week 3 of astronauts. This week's topic is visibility. I will assume that means, what does visibility mean to you? How important do you think it is? And the short of it is that I think visibility is incredibly important. I feel like it's the most powerful tool any marginalized group has at their disposal, and it only it mostly requires the self at a more kind of grand level. It requires protest, it requires overhaul of the media and stuff like that. But on a small scale, it requires the self. It requires someone who is willing and able to be open about who they are, to be open about their experiences, and to talk about them without candor or, you know, apology. It's visibility, it has an educational aspect because people, part of being visible means that you are going to have to explain yourself a lot. And hopefully, most people will take that on board. Hopefully, most people will listen and learn, stop, collaborate, and listen, because Frank is back with a brand new. I'm sorry, I've gone weird. Um, People will take away what you said and take it with them, and hopefully learn to not be massive, flaming piles of shit about it. Um, it forces people to see you, and I mean, obviously, a privileged group is in a much larger position to be able to just tune out what they don't want to see or what they don't care about. But it's much harder to ignore people who won't shut up and won't be silenced than it is to ignore people who never say a word. And it gives hope to people that aren't visible or aren't sure and don't feel like they can be, for fear of maybe their safety or uncertainty or shame or whatever they're feeling or whatever situation they're in. Knowing that there are people like you out there means so much more than words could possibly express. Just when I was younger, I thought I was broken. I couldn't understand why I wasn't feeling what my friends were feeling. I constantly misconstrued emotions that I was having as being like what had been described, because those were the only feelings that I thought I was allowed to feel, and those were the ones that I thought I was supposed to feel. So I spent a long time trying to define myself by standards that didn't apply to me, because I had never been told that there were other standards out there. And um it messed me up. I still second guess myself. I still, if I'm really enthusiastic about being friends with someone, there's still a part of me that goes, well, how do you know you don't how do you know that's not something else, even though I know it's not. And so, because I never had anyone to talk to, I never heard about asexuality, and even when I did, I was so convinced that I had to be what I thought I was, that it still took me a good few years to really come around to it and to accept it, because I'd never met anyone like me. I'd never heard of anyone like me. All I'd known of was a page on TV tropes about asexuality, and in turn a page on Wikipedia. And um, it's that's a difficult topic to segue from. Essentially, I want to be able to do that for other people. I want to be able to give them hope and give them a point of reference and help them know that it's okay to be who they are. And I mean, just to let them know that they're not alone, and that there are asexuals out there. There are more and more of us day by day, because that's what visibility does. It gives people the tools and the ability to self define as something that they didn't know they could be. And the more and more people there are that are visible, the more and more people that in turn will be able to be visible. Or even if you're not immediately able to be visible, it gives you hope that there are people out there that you can find and talk to, and maybe you can leave the Jesus Christ. I got a text. Maybe you can extract yourself from the situation that is preventing you from being who you are. Can you give me a minute? Out, probably. Sorry, I was just talking to my mum about dinner. Um, that was like a roller coaster of events. Oh, first I've got a text, and then my mum's asking me if I want to eat with them. Um, it's part of why continuing on about wanting to give people hope and give them a point of reference and let them know that they're not alone and that they're not broken, and like, if you're not, like, being asexual is not a disorder, and maybe if you feel like there is something wrong with you, if you're not happy, then I do encourage seeking help, but I also implore people to understand that asexuality is valid and it's fine, and it doesn't mean you're broken, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, and it doesn't mean you'll never have fulfilling interpersonal relationships. It doesn't mean any of that. It literally just means a lack of sexual attraction. And some identities are fluid. Mine has been pretty immutable so far, but for some people it might change, it might come and go. And I don't say that as a kind of, oh, don't worry, you'll grow up and find the right man and it will all be different. I mean it more like, if you used to feel attraction and you don't, then it could just be that you are fluid. I mean, I always like, if you are just tragically unhappy, and I'm going in circles. Basically, if you're really unhappy, I do encourage seeking help, but I do also implore you to understand that it doesn't mean you're broken, and it doesn't mean you're alone, and it doesn't mean you will be alone. Um, because there are so many of us, and there are more and more every day, and there are I I have great friends. I have really amazing friends. Don't let them know I said this. Uh, who, you know, they I'm trying not to be too nice about them, and it's really difficult to get across how much they mean to me without being nice. It's not easy. Um, and just because you might not ever have romantic relationships doesn't mean you'll be alone, because platonic relationships can be just as deep and meaningful and fulfilling. And I want people to know that and understand that, and not be scared or lonely. And it's part of why I was so keen to be a part of this project, is part of why I wanted to, but I haven't been able to be a part of it so far because I've just not had the fucking time. A friend of mine is working on a website as a sort of outreach and education website specifically aimed at the UK. It's called ARE UK. Um, so RUK. I can't remember what the acronym is for, um, but I will leave a link in the bottom if the website. I think the website is live. It might not be. I will check. I'm pretty sure it is, and I'll leave a link in the bottom. Thank you for your time. I can't believe I've managed to ramble for 10 minutes about this, when I probably, if I was more succinct, if I had scripted it, probably could have got it done in like 3 minutes. But thank you for your time. I've been Frank, and as always, if you are interested in being a guest, please do leave us a YouTube message or a Tumblr message. Or if any comments, leave them down below. That's what the comment section is for. And if you have any topics you'd like to see us discuss, again, YouTube or Tumblr message, do get in contact and we will then decide if we feel up to discussing it and when we can do it. Obviously, we can't tell you beforehand if we'll do it because we don't know what the topic is. So that would be impossible. None of us, as far as I'm aware, are precognitive. But, we might be. Who knows?